There we go. See if anybody makes any comments about the audio level. Facebook, anyone that's out there listening, we're live. Appreciate any input on the audio levels. Hey, Devon. Hey, Devon, I'm going to pick on you for the invocation, okay? I'm going to pick on you for the invocation if that's okay. We still got a couple minutes. Yeah. We're already broadcasting because I don't like to take chances. Oh, we caught you.
I sent you and Bill an email just before we came because lifetime membership is in the bylaws, so I printed those off and brought them. But yours were the only two comments that we've had so far on the bylaws. So
You guys found it?
it was. It was in there, so I pulled it up and I texted her. I was like, it's okay, it's in there. So it's like, all right, but Jim did say, we might want to relook at those numbers and fees and dues, and it's always good to just look at that.
It's more than enough.
If you're 15, that might be it's almost that time.
I know.
Like duck under there, get out of there, right?
No, go walk in there and go.
Last time I was on the other end, I didn't know why we ended up laying
Need to get a bell or something for next time.
Okay. Nice to meet you.
All right, 7 o'clock, we're going to get the meeting started, everyone. Welcome to meeting number 96, Amateur Radio Club of Columbia County, June General Meeting. Just a little quick reminder for everyone, we are broadcasting out to our Facebook page and we are recording the meeting, so anything that you could be held legally liable for, you may want to avoid saying. The other thing, due to some responses we had from our last meetings that we recorded, one of the things that was noted was they could hear the people that were speaking up here, but whenever there were questions and discussions in the back, they weren't making it onto the video or to the people on Facebook. So we have a microphone back there now. So so here's what we're going to do. If someone just asks a question or a very short thing, I will repeat it. If it's going to be kind of a longer discussion, I would ask that you step up to the microphone to give benefit to the folks that are not here to be able to hear your input. So,
Our meeting's special.
yes. Well, and plus, I don't know how long the battery's going to last in these, so we'll see. And I'm even mic'd up at the front here now. So, Welcome to everyone on Facebook. We are looking for comments on Facebook of the audio levels. Please let us know if you're hearing everything okay. When we do invitations in a moment for the folks on Facebook, if you would put your name and your call sign in there, we'll ask somebody to do those introductions. So, ready to roll? Devon, would you invocation us? You can.
Let's pray. Father God, thank you for this day you've given us and bring us back to this moment in time. Lord, bless our meeting this evening, our fellowship, our conversation, taking things that we want to understand and learn, but also the administrative part. And thank you for this opportunity. In your name, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Devon. Well, if anybody doesn't want to go to the mic, I'll just come stand next to you if you want. Then the Lav can pick you up. Okay, so here's what we're going to do this evening. After the introductions, we do have one application for membership. If there are any more, I'll accept those. We'll do our reports, talk about events coming up. We have a few updates. I know that we have something from Aries, and then we'll do a review and we'll wrap up. There is no presentation tonight. I'll make the appeal. Anybody that wants to give a presentation or anyone who there's a presentation you want to see, please let us know and we'll work to get that into a future meeting. I think we do have an idea for next month. So, okay. If you haven't already, Mike should have ambushed you at the door and gotten you to sign our log for signing in. If not, please, before you leave, go and sign in. We're going to do introductions. I'll start off, and then I'll go to Bill, and we'll just work our way around the room from there. I'm Dan, N4MI.
I'm Bill, WK4F.
Samantha, KM4NSF.
I'm Devon, KM4PHT.
I'm Rachel, KO4 HLC.
Steve, KJ4FS6.
Okay, whoever wants to go next.
Blake, K4ECL.
We'll come up here to Mark.
Oh, Mark, KO4QLA.
Okay, sir.
I come under visitors.
Okay, awesome. Welcome. Thank you.
Hi, I'm David Vine, WA1EAW, Monday Night Net Control for the Inch Radio Club of Augusta, nightly 2 years.
Thomas Senior, KO4 HKC. Thomas Junior, TJ, KO4 FFA.
Susan, WA0B.
I guess we'll go to you, Cindy.
Cindy Cunningham, KM4DBA.
Jim, KD4YA. Randall, KN4FYG.
Mary Kate, K4EYQ.
Stephen, KN4RBU. Richard, KR4XN.
Walter, W4EFS.
Louis, K4IYE.
Robert, K4KPJ. David, W6TWF.
Dave, KO4LDS.
Corbin, KO4QD.
Okay. Unless anybody's lurking, I think that's probably everyone. Any logins there yet?
No, not.
Okay.
A couple of folks watching, but they don't have any information.
Okay. I will try to remember to circle back around here in a minute to see if anybody logged on. You're all very special guests tonight, so thank you for coming out. I don't think I know we had a visitor.
Larry Flanagan,
Okay.
but we're still learning.
Okay, thank you. Well, that's what we're here for. We'll help you out.
Thank you.
Okay, the swap table is up here. I think one item is maybe one or two left up there. I know one already sold, so they're selling like hotcakes. I think, David, are those are yours up there, right?
No.
No, it's an
Other-
LPG, 1001 auto tuner for HF, $550, and a low pass filter for $25.
Okay. Anybody that's interested, and also there are a couple things still on the webpage, swap, sell, or trade. Anyone interested in those, please see David. Okay, I do have one application for membership. I don't know that Stacy is here with us tonight. Got to have these. All right, so I have an application for membership from Stacy Sharp. He lives in Grovetown, is a general class, KK4RFL. He is presenting himself for club membership. Check net control. There's a plus right there. Okay, so is there a motion to accept Stacy into membership? All right, Devon, a second from Stephen. Okay, any discussion regarding Stacy? All in favor of accepting Stacy into the Amateur Radio Club of Columbia County? That looks unanimous. All right, Stacy, welcome. If you're watching tonight, welcome to the club. We look forward to hopefully seeing you at a future meeting. All right, Treasurer's Report. I don't think Rick is here. You can see on there the amounts that we have. Really, I think we've settled the amount for the repeaters work. So after that and after our IT requirements, we're left with $8,900 and some change. What I'm thinking about doing quarterly is actually doing a little more in-depth that'll actually show our transactions over the past quarter, so we may change up the way that we do the slides. We also want to actually start doing a budget so we can forecast what we're going to spend over the coming months. We've got to do activities. If we do activities, we'll need a budget, right? So that's a little pre-appeal to what's going to be coming up next. So are there any questions or discussion? Robert?
How much did the repeater turn out the contract?
I do not have that figure on top of my head, but David probably can give you a ballpark.
The tower planners are 1,100 and something, and then the incidental is about $200 more.
Okay, so about $1,300 total, which was well short of what we budgeted for that. So we actually are sitting on.
Columbia County donated half of the tower planners.
Yep. Yes, David.
Question, I'm just curious, what do you put on Amazon Web Services?
Our website operates off of there.
Do they have facilities for that as well, or do you?
It's virtually hosted on there. Now, if Rusty were here, he would be able to give you a much better response to that than I would be able to. Randall's here. Randall might know that answer. I'm putting you on the spot, Randall.
That's fine. It's the website, it's all the email addresses, and there's other things behind the scenes that Rusty's working on to help the club and have people get information faster. And we're looking at moving to, if you're a member, there's certain items that you'll see. If you're not a member, some of the loaner items and things like that. So that's all running on AWS.
Okay. So basically all of our IT services are running off of Amazon Web Services. So we, Randall, what is the name of the TechSoup? Is that the name? We get credits through them where we're able to, 401c3s are able to get a deep discount. So we buy our credits through them, so we get it for a lot cheaper than if we were to. So it's fairly. It's very affordable for us to do that. Any other?
I'm aware of small organizations that have anything to do with it.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Any other questions about the Treasury report? Is there a motion to accept the Treasury report? Okay, Jim, second from Randall. All in favor of accepting? All right, that looks like almost everyone. All right, the motion to accept the Treasury report passes. The Secretary's report is posted up on the website. If you need me to prove it to you, I can. Click on the button there, click on the link. But it is there. In order to kind of streamline our time for the meetings, we ask everybody to read it ahead of the meeting in case they have any questions on it. Is there any discussion regarding the minutes from our last meeting? Also, we do have we had a Board of Directors meeting last week. Yeah, last week. Those minutes are also posted to the website as well. All right, no questions. Is there a motion to accept the Secretary's report? David, a second. Lewis? You get those, Samantha? David and Lewis. Okay, got it. All right, good. Probably done the toughest business we're going to have to do all night. All right, just a quick appeal for Amazon Smile. We got our latest donation on May the 22nd. It was a little bit short of the $50 we had in the previous quarter, but I believe that was Christmas spending that we had in that quarter. But what's kind of staggering to me is when I start to see the cumulative total that the club has received from Amazon Smile. It's almost $800 for nothing, basically for people shopping and getting stuff that they would normally get. So if anyone wants the information on how to pick Amateur Radio Club of Columbia County as your charity, these slides will be available, so you can just kind of go click in there and follow that. Really easy, doesn't cost you any extra when you buy anything, gives us a little bit of money to operate with. I call it our, it's basically 2 new members every quarter from our donations, so pretty good. All right, just a little quick thing. I noticed that there were a couple more of them in here tonight. We do have badges available with the logo and with the name of the club on Sign Man of Baton Rouge. If you just click that link, it'll take you right to where he sells those. I think they're $12.50. If you want the magnet back, I think it's maybe a couple bucks more than that. But they look pretty. I think they came out pretty good. Just no pressure on those, just if you want one, they're available. Okay, events coming up. Talk about we're going to talk about Field Day. Susan will talk a little bit more about the Aries training coming up right after that. We have a VE test session coming up next month. That should be the July general meeting in July. Have another board meeting in August. We got some ham fests, regional ham fests starting up again. Pretty excited about that. I know there's a few of us that are going to Huntsville. That's always a fun time. We will talk also during this about the Public Safety and Preparedness Day. And we will definitely talk about Savannah River Academy and the ARCCC contact and some things surrounding that coming up. Any questions or anybody got any other events that?
Yeah, the Waynesville, North Carolina people are I think it's in July.
July, Waynesville, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have
Well,
a question.
yes, Stephen.
The EMA Public Safety and Preparedness Day, are we participating in that some sort of way? Or
We are. Yeah, we're gonna have a topic about it here very moment in just a couple minutes.
Okay.
Do we have anybody from Facebook, Simon?
Yes, as a matter of fact, we have several check-ins.
I'm going to get close so they can hear you.
Okay, we got Mark, AA1WO, Bob, KO4JSL, who says our audio sounds good, by the way, David, KO4HCJ, and Randy, KN4CAX.
Okay, thank you all for joining us online this evening. All right, just a quick update about Field Day. So everybody knows that we're not doing a normal Field Day event like we have done in years past, but there are several options in the area that you can go to that are holding Field Day events. So I would definitely encourage to go out if you've never been. Particularly if you've never been to Field Day, definitely go out and visit one of these Field Day sites because you really want to see an on-site Field Day. So Amateur Radio Club of Augusta, North Augusta Belvedere, and I think probably first time this year for both the Fort Gordon Club and the Augusta University Club. I think this may be their first time doing Field Day events. So those are all the locations. These slides are available. The other thing is if you want to participate from home, and you want your score to be contributed to any club, there is a way to do that that I'm going to talk about here in just a moment.
One thing I think that's really important is to get yourself on that map, that ARRL map.
Yes.
By inputting the information, because, even today, it was only 29 clubs.
Yeah.
And the point is, if somebody's interested in amateur radio, they don't know much about it.
Right.
They're going to go there, look, and see if there's something in their area.
Yeah. And I know in years past when we would actually put things in the newspaper and things as well for people who might not be familiar. Any questions about the locations? These are, like I said, this slide's available. Devon, go ahead.
Edgefield they are participating in Field Day also.
Edgefield?
Edgefield.
Okay, all right, good. So there are lots of opportunities around the CSRA for field day. Okay, so if you want to do field day at home, first thing I would say is if you're not really sure, go back to our meeting slides from June of last year where we actually had a little bit of a tutorial for if you were going to operate field day at home, talking about the logging software that you would need to use and things like that. I won't go into that tonight, but if you do operate field day, as I mentioned, you can operate from home using your call sign, but there is a way to have your score attributed to a club that you want to participate with. So whether that's the Augusta Club, our club, any of them, you can do that. And the way that you do that, there's really good information on the ARRL Field Day website on how to do that. And you use actually ARRL's online submission tool, and I'll show a screenshot of that in a second. Most important thing is when you put in the club name, you're going to put in your call sign, and you're going to put the club name in another one. It has to be the exact same name for everybody that puts it in. Otherwise, it won't get attributed to the right club. So there could be like 4 different versions of a club. The idea is to get a cumulative aggregate score. So say the Augusta Club is doing their field day out in Blythe, they'll have a score that they'll get from their site. If I operate from home as N4MI and I put Amateur Radio Club of Augusta, my score gets appended to their score, so their score grows from that. We don't have a field day event. If people from this club want to operate field day and put it in for Amateur Radio Club of Columbia County, we will have a score for the club. That's just an option, not really pressuring anybody whether they need to do that or not. It's just an option. I will probably operate some on Saturday night and Sunday and push my score to the Amateur Radio Club of Columbia County. But again, I'm going to show you a couple of slides, and there's more slides in our meeting slide deck from last year in our June meeting. And the link on here will take you to it. So here's what the entry looks like. You go online to put in your field day entry. You will attach your log to this, but there's a couple of things that I wanted to show you on this slide. When you go in and put in, you're going to put your call sign up there. Don't put K4KNS up there. Put your personal call sign. So I put N4MI. And this box here with your group or club name, that's where you would put the name of the club that you're going to have your score be attributed to. And actually on this, if you type ARC, there'll be a drop-down box, and you'll actually see ARC of Columbia County. Again, the important thing is it has to go in that way, because we're ARCCC, but this is the way ARL knows us, is ARC of Columbia County. And then you can pick one of 2 different stations or 2 different classes from home. There's some other things that are not for home stations. We can get a couple of group folks together. You can operate mobile or as an EOC station. But for home stations, there's 2 different designations. One, if you're on commercial power, so if you're sitting in your nice, comfy, cozy, air-conditioned shack, you would pick home station commercial power. If you want to go out in your backyard and swat mosquitoes and sweat for a little while and operate off of emergency power, you can pick home station emergency power. I'm assuming you could probably attach a battery in your home station and be on emergency power too. Just I wanted to kind of push that out there as for an option for anyone who's interested in participating in field day, but you can't be out at a site. Okay. I'm going to turn this one over to Bill.
Okay. And Susan and I will both kind of share some information with you. On August the 28th, Columbia County EMA is sponsoring a Public Safety and Preparedness Day. It's going to be over here at the amphitheater area, the park area. And they've given us an opportunity, Susan with Aries, and I kind of volunteered for the club, to kind of lead our effort to kind of be able to reach out to some of our residents about public safety, but more importantly, preparedness. And so what I'm thinking from a club standpoint, you know, one of the things I think we could show folks is how we would communicate when the grid's down. whether it's because of a hurricane, whether it's because of a, some other reason, where the cell phones don't work, your computer doesn't work, whatever, how can you communicate? Well, we're going to be able to show them that we can do that with 2-meter radios. What I thought we would do is have some handhelds. I've got a 2-meter Go box that uses a bio-NO battery, and be able to show folks that, hey, amateur radio operators can contribute. We can help communications, in a situation like that, and be able to, with just some portable antennas, with a little case that you can carry around with you, be able to do that. I also thought that, we might even try to get an HF Go box that somebody may have built recently. Some antennas, portable antennas. I've got a Wolf River coil antenna that you can just set it up just about anywhere. We're also, mostly we want to also reach out to folks and give them an opportunity to learn about amateur radio. How do you get a license? What do you have to do? Where do you get information? Club contacts, things like that. We're thinking, probably 9 to 1. It's going to be in late August. It's going to be hot. But we will have kind of like a tent, maybe some tables and so forth. And so, for that 4-hour period, I'd like to have a couple of folks, per hour, take a 1-hour shift, sit there, talk with folks, use a 2-meter handheld to talk to, somebody here in the EOC, talk to somebody down the road, whatever the case may be. We probably, trend towards simplex just because, the thought there is to be prepared when the repeaters, the grid, the cell towers aren't working. So that's just some ideas. If you would be interested in participating under the club, give me a call, give me an email, whatever, let me know. Talk to me after the meeting, and we'll start to put some more plans in place. Again, like I said, I'm going to work with Susan over the next month or two to get us ready to do that. So, Susan, what else do you want to add to that?
No, that's great, because we're going to do a joint effort, and also we can set up here at the DOC, show some of the equipment the county has purchased to support this the emergency preparedness.
If we get a lot of people, we'll rotate you between Lady A and here so you can get some cooling time. Cooling time in the EOC, and then go back out to that. Any questions for Bill or Susan on that? I think it's going to be we haven't really done a good public outreach, non-academic public outreach for a while. So we used to do, was it Prepare and Aware is what it was called a few years ago. So this is a good opportunity to present the opportunities of amateur radio to the folks who will be coming out. Corbin, is there anything else from the EMA on that? Sean, I'm assuming, is still kind of pushing forward on plans and.
Absolutely, yeah. Everything is going forward, moving forward, and everything you guys talked about sounds good.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right, so just one real quick one. We have concluded our membership dues collection. I'm in the process of contacting people that we didn't collect them from. We're just kind of reconciling our records because there were some different methods of payment. And I don't want to inadvertently drop someone who might have paid in cash or with a check. And also our UHF repeater, as we mentioned earlier, the repeater work is done out there, so the UHF repeater is back to operation. The repeater committee and David are working on some additional capabilities for that repeater, and also some training and I guess sort of the expectations for control operators for those capabilities when we do that. So we don't want to really prematurely announce the full capability until we have everything kind of lined up. So any questions about any of these three things? Okay. All right. So this. Now that we're kind of back out of COVID times, finally, and we can start doing more things, really want to make a push to try to get more people involved in doing some activities we would love to do. some activities. Would love to do field day next year. The time to start planning for field day is actually now, because location is probably the primary thing that has to be done. So if anyone is interested in taking a lead for field day for next year, we will certainly accept that. Also want to kind of bring some life into to a couple of the committees that have been sort of dormant during COVID-19 restrictions, because we couldn't really do things, but that's mentoring and outreach. So I kind of divided mentoring and outreach into a couple of categories, because sometimes it's kind of confusing. Well, what does mentoring do and what is outreach? So I see mentoring as an internal thing for the club, to help new club members and, well, even experienced club members to do new things. So we'll be doing things like coming up with presentations and workshops, and helping field day, plan their things, because we do workshops and stuff at field day. So if anyone who is interested in, joining and kind of leading on mentoring. The other thing, outreach, I look at that as being more externally focused to outside of the club. So a good example would be the Public Safety and Preparedness Day. That would be an outreach activity where we reach out to the public, as well as our served organizations. So the EMA is one of our served organizations. So partnering with them and partnering with Aries is the type of thing that we would do with outreach. We kind of already have sort of a sub part of that, which is the academic outreach, which we have kind of got started. So Rachel and Samantha are doing some work with that. We definitely want more people with that. We're going to talk a little bit about that here in a moment on the academic work. We're actually expanding beyond just the ARIS contact. So we're really looking for people who have expertise there to help us out. Net control operators, we definitely always need more net control operators. What are there, about 5 of us maybe who are sharing the rotation of it. It's a fun thing to do, but we do occasionally, even with 5 people, we run into the occasional little snafu, or we don't have the full availability of the crew. So it's really easy to do. I mean, I do it. Come on. That tells you how easy it is to do. Basically, you have to push a button and read, and then repeat back what you hear. Pretty easy, and there's training for it. So really, if anybody wants to do net control, and you have a radio that's capable of doing it, then please do that. And then it's still a few months out, but to be honest, before we realize it, our annual awards and our holiday party, it's always very fun. And really good opportunity to socialize and get together and reflect on the previous year and look forward to the coming year. So if anybody is interested in doing that, I'm just going to make that appeal. I'm going to also make that appeal via email. Yes, Jim?
Dan, we'd be happy to, I'm throwing my wife under the bus here, which I usually do, coordinate we usually make a donation to a charity. I think we did Toys for Tots last year. We've done a few, but we usually collect sometime around the Christmas party, depending upon when the particular charity needs their donations by. But if folks would be willing to bring in an unwrapped gift, we'd be happy to coordinate getting that to a charity.
Except he's throwing me under the bus, and we may not even be here for Christmas.
Right.
We probably ought to rethink that before we vote.
I don't bring her, so she's right. Everything. Well, if we're
here, we'll be happy to do that.
Okay.
If we're not here, that's...
If they're not going to be here, I bet they would be willing to share their expertise on it with someone who's willing to do it. So anyway, I just want to kind of put all those things out there. These events don't happen without people to do the planning and people to do the staffing. The board assists with that. So we are kind of automatically members of your committee, but due to our other functions, we typically don't think it's a great idea for us to be the lead on the committee for 2 reasons. One is division of effort. The other is consolidation of influence and power. We kind of want to separate some of those things out. So that's just kind of our thing. So please think about doing it. We will help you. People who have done it before will help you. Usually, as soon as someone steps up and says, "Okay, I'll lead," then there's a group of people that kind of flock in there and say, "Whew, I don't have to lead it." Yes, David, go ahead.
You've got two things up there. You've got the workshops and the survey.
Well, that's a different topic, but
I understand,
Mhm.
but I'm wondering if, for instance, I would love to go to a workshop for programming my radio. And like I've got 4 different radios, but the the Kenwood handheld
Mhm.
is the most complicated.
we do,
Well, what I'm suggesting is in that survey, you ask, maybe even an optional survey if they wish to fill it out online maybe, to find out what they're interested in
Yep.
for workshops.
Yep, we will probably do something like that as well, and I may actually do it as a separate. Problem is not necessarily with that; it's actually getting people to respond to the survey. Sometimes when we push them out, so that when I talk about this one, I'm gonna there's a couple of very important things that we need to accomplish through it. We will make it easy, and we will put it online so that you click a link, you answer a couple of questions, you click submit. But you're right. But the other part is when we have committees that do these things, then they can kind of take over the surveying for those things as well, which makes it a little bit easier for us to make sure we have these things happen.
Dan, just one other point on field day, especially for our new hymns. Winter field day is in January, so it has different challenges than summer field day or regular field day, which is in June.
Yep.
So,
Heat exhaustion is not usually a consideration for January, but cold could be.
But everything has pretty much been laid out by former committees.
Yes.
So picking up
We have documents
is
to
fairly straightforward because everything is laid out as far as what you need to do and how to go about it.
Usually the most critical thing is the location. If you can pin down the location and reserve it, everything, people will come in and set up radios, people will come in and operate radios. But so segue into a survey, we're working on building that now. I'm going to make several appeals here. I'm going to make it over the net. I'm going to make it by email to please respond to the survey. A couple of things that I'm trying to get out of is to verify that we have the right contact information for people. Now, obviously, if I send it out to the wrong place, then they may not do that. But if we don't get a response back, I'll start doing a little bit of detective work to see if we can get people. The other part is I need to verify the number of people who are ARL members. We actually need to know that for our ARL Special Services Club and for our club affiliation. We kind of need to know the percentage of club members who are ARL members. We kind of wing it sometimes, but it'd be nice to actually get to actual factual information there. Not trying to, sell anyone on ARL, but we are affiliated and we are a Special Services Club.
And we still get a portion of that. Do we still get a portion of that if someone renews through the club?
It's so very little that we have not really messed with it as the VE team because the juice hasn't been worth the squeeze on that. I mean, it's just a lot of paperwork to do for very little return out of it. So we have not been doing that. We do encourage ARL membership, but not a requirement. Any questions about either of these things? Please think about leading an effort here. Like I said, we'll help you. All right. What used to be SRA ARIS contact has kind of grown a little bit into kind of what we're calling HAM 101. So a couple of pieces of this that kind of re-mention the fact that Savannah River Academy asked us to come back in the new school year and to continue the program at least leading up to their contact in December, and that's when the contact is scheduled. We will probably sometime in the month of November probably have a flurry of activity getting ready for that because we definitely want that done. Everyone who has gone to do work with the kids has walked away blessed, I think. in that, because they have been really, really receptive. Some really good news to report is Corbin, who is back there. We had a sort of a mutually beneficial opportunity, I guess we could say. He's doing some training on writing grants. He came to us and said, hey, could I write one for you guys, and that'll help me with my class, and we'll get some bucks out of it, right? It's a good deal. So we were kind of pressed for time to come up with what we wanted to do with it. We knew we had this HAM 101 proposal going forward, so I believe it's going to ARL. Is that who the grant?
Yes, sir.
request?
Right now I'm looking at Arrow Foundation. They have an opportunity there, and there's another one. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. This is not associated with the county in any way. I'm in a master's class for public administration, and part of that is grant writing. Looking around, I had to find a 501c3 organization, and I found out the club is one, so I figured I'd work with them to get this going. And with Arrow, we can get about $2,000. We'll get the match for that grant.
Okay. And of course, if there's any others, so what I'm kind of asking for Corbin and for the club, if anybody's got any experience with working with grants, I'm sure he would probably appreciate the advice, and the club would obviously appreciate any proceeds. So we already kind of threw some ideas together of what we would do if we got certain amounts of money. There are quite a few materials that have to go into some of this. Some of it's printed materials. Also, we were looking to get a laptop that's dedicated to doing presentations, a projector, and maybe even a small PA system that we could use. So if we go to places that don't have those things, we have presentation capability. Also to have things for printing. ARL does have some brochures, but they've kind of moved into this model of just giving you a downloadable PDF, which is not necessarily as friendly if you're doing a live event. So those were a few ideas that we had. So the other part is we build this up. I really want to pull the expertise. I know, Cindy, you've done work in the classroom. Jim, I know you do that too, to kind of like what we're doing with Savannah River Academy to take that to other schools in that. I don't know that we want to focus on the 2 to 5 age group, but
Well, I talked to Rachel earlier because Jim and I went out and did a robotics thing with it's an after-school program, but they have a summer portion of the after-school program. So we are doing robotics with them this week. And one of the things I mentioned was that we could get something in with ham radio. They do an after-school program, and they have a site at Grovetown Middle and Harlem Middle. And so I already talked to the person who's kind of the head of the whole program, and she's definitely on board. So if we could go to her and say, hey, we could come out for the next 6 weeks, once a week, and do this program with your kids, she's a science teacher. She's definitely on board. So we just need to know what to tell her.
Okay.
We want to take to them, and I'm sure she will be supportive.
Okay. So I don't know that we'll have this all fully matured by the beginning of the school year. Since it's on top of us.
They don't start right at the beginning. They don't start till about a month in anyway. So whenever you're ready to roll out, I'm sure she would find a space for us.
Okay. And so anyone who has any other ideas, now I think, we don't want to bite off more than we can chew here as well. So I don't think we want to say we're going to do every Columbia County school, because we don't have enough people to do that. So I'm going to kind of go back to the previous slide where we need people to help out with these things. Like I say, if you ever go and do this one time with those kids, you'll be like, this is a fun thing to do. We have lots of things that have already been done that we can pull material from. We are saving the things that we do so that we can reproduce them. We did learn that we can actually work with second and third graders. We have things we can do with them that are good activities, and they were really, really interested. And we have materials where we could do another weather balloon launch, and that went over really, really well. So there's lots of things that we can do that really fit within the STEM program. So kind of two appeals, I guess, I'm making here is anyone who can offer some ideas and thoughts and help to Corbin that'll help him with his class and will help us get a little dough that we can put towards outreach. That's great. And anyone who is interested in coming out to the school to do a presentation. I think as we get the curriculum pulled together, we can kind of make that public within the club, so you can kind of see what works.
I have a nice big full-size spectrum chart that the government publishes, mounted. And so I did a talk once at the school.
Okay.
And I'd be happy to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, our long-range plans are probably to create a curriculum that will work for elementary students, one that will work for middle school students, and one that will work for high school students. And again, this is not us having to go in there and teach a full semester of courses. This is us coming like once a week for, a limited period of time, maybe 6 weeks, and doing that. There's a couple of other benefits to doing this. When we do our events with the school, so in addition to doing the presentations, we'll hold little field day things. We had the kids at Savannah River Academy get on a radio there and talk to folks on the repeater. They got a huge kick out of it. They loved it. They were not mic shy kids, most of them. And I think everybody who talked to them on the repeater got comedy value like you're not going to get anywhere else, because it was kids say the darndest things. And it was a lot of fun. But we want to go out and set up an HF radio out there and at least just let them try. I can't remember when the ARL Kids Day is. I want to say it's like... Yeah, so ARL has a thing called Kids Day, which is like a day, it's not a contest really, but it's a day when kids get on there. They call CQ Kids Day, and people talk to them, and they have like a little exchange that they do. We were wanting to do that with them, but it's in the summertime, and I didn't know that we would get parents to drive kids out on a Saturday in the summer to go do that. But just because it's not ARL Kids Day doesn't mean it can't be Augusta Kids Day, so we can do things like that with them. So if you don't want to go in and do a presentation, just be in there to help help the kids when they're on the radio. So I know that I think Lewis and JC were there when they were doing the Morse code. And then Bob Hunter had a radio station or a 2-meter station set up for him there, and had a lot of fun. Any questions about Ham 101? Any thoughts, comments? I know I'm making a lot of appeals for participation tonight. Okay. All right, I don't know how many committees we have represented here tonight. Devon, anything from Net Control?
They're doing a great job. They are. They're doing a great job.
Yeah.
But anybody that like to get their feet wet?
It really is fun. I enjoy it.
I'd like to throw out the standard volunteer thing now that COVID is easing up a little bit. If somebody wants to come out and try it, they're welcome to stop out, use my station. I'll do all the logging for them. Kind of assist them through it. If you're a little gun shy about it, honestly, it's not that hard. I mean, it really isn't. It's a lot of fun, but if you'd like to try it, I'd be happy to do that. I'm sure Devon will hook you up, so just let us know what we need to do to get you comfortable to give it a shot.
Okay.
You don't have to, commit to being a net controller. Just try it. Take one night. Give it a shot.
Thanks, Jim. Stephen?
I would also like to say that, it's really not even that much of a time commitment. With 4 or 5 net controllers that we already have on the books, I mean, it's once a month. And, the more we add in, the less often you have to do it. So, if we could get even 10 net controllers, you'd only be doing it somebody that's good at math once every month or two.
Not as often.
But no, seriously, and it's a great opportunity. I have learned a lot being a net controller, just operating and, actually controlling the traffic moving in. And in a time of an emergency, I would believe that there would be kind of a traffic jam, so to speak, on the air. And it might give you an opportunity to really start to learn how to categorize things and actually control, as the name implies, some of the chaos. And it's a super easy thing to do, and I have fun doing it. I know the other net controllers have fun doing it, right, guys?
Yeah.
And
Well, we have a,
if you're on the air, on the net, and you're checking in, there's nothing preventing you from taking and becoming a net controller, getting that extra experience, and running a net. It's super easy.
yeah, and we actually have a channel on Telegram called ARCCC Nets, and usually the other net controllers who aren't calling are on there, and actually helping tease out, call signs if, someone's doubles or someone's coming in weak. We kind of cooperate and help each other out on there.
And through the week, there may or may not be some funny moves shared. So.
Yeah. All at least semi-safe for work, generally speaking. Okay, Walter, anything on repeaters other than what we talked about?
No, I don't think we have anything, any issues, any problems at all. Someone has any issues with the repeaters, let me know.
Okay. Okay. Jim, anything you want to mention on Constitution and bylaws?
Sure, so we're taking comments, we're probably going to pass through the public comment period and go ahead and do a review and make a recommendation as far as some updates. We've had a few comments. One we've kind of addressed as potentially resolved, but did lead to a question. For example, life member dues. Do we want to update the cost of a life member due? Do we want to change any of our pricing, things like that? So we'll make some recommendations, but the public comment period is open. The bylaws are not too hideously long or complicated or terrible to read, so if anybody is interested, take a few minutes to read through there and pitch us some ideas before we wrap this up and bring it back and start making some recommendations for updates.
Okay. I think that kind of covers it all for now. Just any general comments from anyone on something we haven't talked about?
Just on the Facebook page, David Hernandez mentioned that a suggestion and basically a collaboration between some of the local clubs to share certain resources, share ideas, things like that. He said he had mentioned it in the Trenton repeater, before DV repeater, and would be pursuing, talking to some people about things like that.
I think that's a great idea. And in fact, like I said, I was planning to do a little tour of field day events, and I may talk to them about that to see what they have in mind.
Clubs in the area, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a great opportunity, even just with this HAM 101, that we don't have to have all the expertise limited to our club, Fort Gordon. They do instruction there. I think a lot of them are instructors in that club, so we may appeal to them. They did assist us with the balloon launch as well. So we think we're doing that cooperation. It sounds like we're looking to maybe semi-formalize it. So that was from David. Mm-hmm. David, I'll definitely be in touch about that. Okay. Susie?
Okay, so just want to announce next Tuesday night from 6:30 to 8:30, we're going to be doing ARES training. There's an ARES proficiency for Georgia that they want us to do for basic level communicators, so we're going to start that out introductory to WinLink training. So just a very basic session, so if anyone wants to learn about WinLink, you don't have to be an ARES member to come on and join us. The more people that are familiar with it, and happy to have you.
Okay, and I will add on this if anybody has any questions about that. There's actually a contact form for ARES on our webpage. So if you have any questions, we'll make sure that gets to Susan so that she can get in touch with you.
Do you need to know we're coming?
No. So if you have a laptop, if you want to bring a laptop, you can use it. We'll have some to use. But it'd be better if you want to set it up. We can help you get it set up and everything.
Okay. Sounds really fun. All right, Devon, what's going on with Amron?
I'm going to stand up for this one.
All right.
We had an awesome weekend this past weekend with our operators. We set up command centers all over the United States, and my QTHO is the command center. And we had operators there, and we had teams in 3 locations. And Emma, we were unique kind of guys, so it was called shoot and scoot. Just read into it. And so the operators had to deploy, erect their antennas, wait for digital traffic while they were out in the field. And we had two mobile radios, one HF radio, HF mobile, and one VHF mobile. So they had to wait for their traffic via FL Digi. And once they got their marching orders, they had to confirm their status through JS8. Once they did that, they had to break down and be at another location and redeploy everything and wait for their traffic again from a command center. The CSRA team, they stood out nationwide. We had our first VHF digital transmission, simplex, to the command center. And that was Jim, came for LCJ, and he was pretty pumped about it. We got the traffic through, and we got to actually transmit that to HF on up to national. So we had a great time. It was the first time we ever did that, and luckily the weather was good. We were out there these guys were out there too, the rain came in. But we look forward to more of these type of operations. So. Hey, look us up. We're just a unique crowd doing different things with amateur radio, and we love it.
Thanks, Devon. Okay. I think for all we did was approve the normal things, and we accepted Stacy Sharp into club membership. Before I close it out, where'd Cameron go? She's the one who had the special request for tonight.
Make a motion that we have a meeting after the meeting tonight.
This board meeting last week, anything come out of it that the general membership needs to know about?
We really actually talked about all of these things that we just presented this evening. We typically do those as try to do those as a prelude to the general meeting, so that we kind of get our act together going into the meeting. We did talk a little bit more in depth about the repeater site and the future of the repeater site with the potential for linking of the UHF repeater out there, but we're not quite ready, I think, to present the full proposal out to the club yet. We talked about the need to get committees going again for outreach, and we talked about the grant proposal and what we want to do with HAM 101. So pretty much the same stuff that we covered tonight. That cover it for you? Meeting minutes are in there. One of the things that I will actually want to start doing, so you saw that we have the meeting on here. We will actually start sending the location and time and date of the board meeting out to the club membership. They're not closed. They're not limited to just the board members. We typically also invite anybody who's doing any directing of any activities or any committees to come to those meetings. But club members are welcome to join us in the meeting. They're not, like I said, they're not closed. They're not as fun as these meetings, but yes, go ahead.
One thing that did come out during the board meeting, and kudos I think have to go out to David Corsigli, because one of the things that came out is we had a large sum of money that was planned to be obligated for the tower work, and due to some feet on the ground work from David, that obligation is cleared for far under what we budgeted for it. So sorry I wasn't here to present it.
That's okay.
Treasurer's thing, but
Yeah, it's about a quarter of what we projected, I think, is what we ended up saying. So thank you, David, for that. Definitely appreciate that legwork. And everybody on the repeater committee. I think David would be the first to say it's a team effort to get that done, and there were lots of people involved. And I know if we go back a couple of, at least probably last month or maybe the month before, we had kind of the full list of the crew in there. We'll do that recognition again at the end of the year as well. Any other questions, comments? Otherwise, it leaves us to one last motion. Anyone makes a motion to adjourn? David, go ahead.
Presentations, topics. I will do one
I will be in touch.
I've got lots of material on it.
Okay, thank you, I appreciate it. David?
We wanted to ask, talking to Rachel, how many of you would be interested in learning about transmitter hunting? Okay, good. I thought I might lead up, and Rachel help me. We have a Saturday morning, maybe at Patriots Park for a beginning transmitter hunt. I have one Fox box, which I'll get out and make sure it still works. If any of you have a Fox box or a box, it's a transmitter that goes off automatically every minute or so, gives a call sign. It'll be on 2 meters. I'd also like to have one on 440. Some of us, like Randall and myself, we have some of these tape measure antennas. We could show you how to use them, and Randall's volunteered to help. So it's a lot of fun. You walk around the park and there'll be hidden transmitters, and you go and see, you can find them. It's really a fun thing to do. So how many again would be interested? Looks like a lot of people.
Okay. In case it did not make it through to the audio for the recording or Facebook, David proposed the idea to do a transmitter hunt or a Fox hunt using 2 meters and 440. So there'll be, as we pull all that together, we'll make sure emails go out with all of that. Okay. Last call. Lewis.
There are 2 Georgia traffic nets on HF. 3975, 39.5. David and I check in almost every night. Also, Rodney, KQ4HS from Grovetown, WFRIKP1 from Grovetown, and every once in a while, MZRFB checks into those nets. But they are traffic nets. There's not really much traffic, but we would like, David and I would like to invite you to check into those nets, because besides the UHF, VHF nets, when all that happens, it has to go to HF, and that's where that traffic is happening. So it's the Georgia single sideband net, 3975 at 7 o'clock. The Georgia traffic emergency net, 7:15, 3980 to 25, at 7:15. Everyone is welcome, and don't worry about making mistakes. We don't care.
I will get in touch with you, and I'll get all that information and push it out.
You can email me, k4iie73@gmail.com.
And I'll capture all that and actually send it out in a club email for anyone.
I'll send it to you too.
Okay.
Can we add it to the net announcement?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've been adding more nets kind of slowly into the net announcements. Okay, anyone else? Going once? Going twice? All right, anybody want to make a motion to adjourn the meeting and I guess see about a meeting after the meeting? Jim is always the one who makes the first motion on that. He's the meeting killer. Is there a second to adjourn the meeting? Okay, Dave.
I'll take that title.
All in favor of officially adjourning? That looks pretty unanimous. All right, thanks, everybody. You can just tap that. Now the fun part.